Now, we're going to talk about being in the way. In the swimming pool first. So, my little swimming pool that I like to go to, that's way more quiet with a lot less people, is closed for a while. This is a mild inconvenience that I learned to live with, but it also means I have to go to a more public and more crowded pool with a lot of people who like to swim really slow and hang around in the middle of the lane and do nothing. So now, the A-type swimmer in me is like, it's a fucking swimming pool, not a walking pool. It's a swimming pool. Okay, fine. But this particular pool, which I like, has lanes for walking, has lanes for individual swimmers, and has lanes for multi-swimming, which means you're going to share a lane. So because I'm usually tight on time and you have to wait for the single lane, I do the multi-swimming lane, which means I have to share. Okay, so I learned that in kindergarten, how to share, how to mind my own business, how to watch my boundaries, how to play well with others. So I do things, and I'm a fast swimmer, and I like to swim, and I'm there to swim. I'd prefer not to swim around people, but I will. I'm saying all this for a reason. Because this idea of like sort of how I'm aware of myself and what's going on around me and who's around me and where they are is so important. From everything from like how I drive with more patience, how I can swim and get a great workout, and all kinds of other things, right? Like if I'm aware of who's where and doing what, like let's just say I'm doing a weight workout and I know I'm going to do like back, triceps, biceps, right? As I'm finishing back, I can look over to the area where the tricep machines are. And in fact, if they're full, I know, hey, I can skip the triceps, go to biceps, and come back to triceps when someone's not on the machine. That makes me feel much better. As opposed to looking at the triceps and going, oh my God, look at this person who doesn't understand what they're doing or where they're at, and they're sitting there on their cell phone. I don't need to complain and get annoyed about shit like that, right? Like it's just not necessary. So, but here's the thing, like I'm swimming today and I'm trying to figure out, do I circle? And I had to go back and forth from having my own half a lane to my own full lane to circle swimming because there were more than 3 people in the 40 minutes that I swam, right? So I have to be paying attention to what's happened as people are moving in and out. Now, a couple of times, people are like crossing the lane. They're just standing there. I know they see me coming because I lift my head up. And the thing is that like, what is it in people that just doesn't seem to understand how to get out of the way? That just doesn't seem to understand that someone or something is coming at them and is probably not going to move. And the thing is that I'm doing my best to move around people, but some people just stand there as if they don't understand. And I'm fascinated by this lack of awareness. You know, I mentioned in the caption, Anthony DeMello, great, great, great guy. I think he was, vocationally, I think he was a priest, but he ended up, you know, kind of speaking outside of his own religion and becoming fairly popular as a part of a spiritual movement. And he used to talk about people are asleep. People are asleep. And he had this great Indian accent. He goes, people walk around asleep. They are getting married asleep. They are going to school asleep, you know, and all these things that they go to work asleep. And it's so true. It's like this zombie quality of people that's just like, what? What's happening? I don't know. I don't know. And this whole movement of like how to handle feelings and how to feel better and do all kinds of things to feel better. We all want to feel better. I get that. You know, but some of the things that are out there to do to feel better are kind of taking us away from feeling it all. They're taking us away from the presence of mind of being in your body in this moment and capable of experiencing what's happening around you. You know? Because what all I'm concerned about is how to feel better and not having to feel bad, because God forbid I should feel bad or dark or any kind of other like negative feelings that might actually help me grow or learn something. I want to feel good all the time. But in order to do that, some of the things that one has to do in order to feel better are taking you out of feeling at all. And they're taking you out of the present moment and they're making it incapable for you to be where you're at. I understand it's hard for some people to be where they're at because of where their mind goes, you know, but this way of like disassociating ourselves from the present and disassociating ourselves from what's happening around us is not really good in the long run. Because intuitively or instinctively, like an animal, you kind of need to feel where you're at. Like an animal, you need to understand and sense what's happening around you, because anything can happen at any given moment. And don't you want to be able to see it coming? Don't you want to know what's going to hit you before it hits you? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, that just seems to make sense to me. So I'm fascinated with this way that people are sleeping. If you're interested in Anthony DeMello, check him out. I think it's DIMELLO. He does a lot of really good talks on being present, being conscious, being spiritual, and just trying to find some peace of mind. which I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm chasing peace of mind like a drug, baby. Tap it in right here. See you later. Thanks for joining me.